Coming up on Naperville News 17, new details about the Buffalo Wild Wings incident. Turkey talk from the experts right here in Naperville. And when Santa comes to town, he'll be set up in style. Hello everyone, I'm Kim Pierce. Thanks for joining us for this week's Naperville News. A police report obtained by the Daily Herald gives new details about what happened during the October 26th incident at Buffalo Wild Wings in Naperville. On that night, a multiracial party of 18 said they were asked by staff to move tables as a regular who was racist did not want to sit by black people. In the report, employees told detectives they had known of the regular customer making racist comments in the past. That customer admitted to police that he had done so before in front of staff, but said he did not make any such comments that night and did not ask that the party of 18 be moved. One employee account said it was all, quote, he said, she said, and a lot of miscommunication, our staff causing most of the drama. The police determined no crimes were committed in the incident. Naperville's downtown streetscape improvements could force the Last Fling to change location. Naperville News 17's Casey Krajewski has more.
Now that RibFest is moving to Romeoville starting in 2020, the Last Fling is Naperville's longest-running festival. But it could be forced to move to another Naperville location if downtown streetscape improvements are delayed.
In the event of weather delays or any other construction delays, we may not have access to Jackson Avenue for the 2020 Last Fling. The city will need it for traffic flow. So we've been exploring alternative venues near downtown Naperville where we could host the Last Fling.
Though Dingledine couldn't be specific about the venues they're exploring in and around downtown Naperville, he said the Jaycees were inspired by the layout of Festa Italiana, which took place inside Naper Settlement. Regardless of the location, the group plans to reconfigure the layout of the Last Fling. Some vendors last year felt they were located away from the majority of foot traffic.
Going forward, we really want to work hard to make sure that these individuals that have supported our event for so many years feel appreciated, and we're hoping to do whatever we can to create an environment where they feel welcome back at our event.
Last year was also the first time charging admission to the festival, a policy they plan to continue despite some negative feedback from attendees.
It's a community event, but it's also a fundraiser for the Jaycees, for our programs. So we decided that we want to throw a financially sustainable community event that is approachable and engaging for everybody in Naperville.
About 29,000 people attended the Fling this year, a big factor in the $106,000 program dollars generated to support the Jaycees mission. For Naperville News 17, I'm Casey Krajewski.
2020 will be the 55-year anniversary of the Last Fling. It's been quite a year for James Holzhauer. The record-breaking Jeopardy champ made a recent return to the game show, and our own Christian Canizal talked to him about his experience.
Who is Jeopardy James for 2019? There's no doubt the Naperville native has left his mark this year, with an incredible run on the popular game show. James Holzhauer's innovative strategy of going for the highest available questions first proved to be effective, as he earned over $2 million and won 32 games. But what the 35-year-old is most proud of is one of his early feats. He told us in an email, "Even though it's no longer the record, I'm most proud of my $110,914 score the first time I set the single-day high score. It was an extremely ambitious goal to win exactly that amount, but I knew I could do it." He would go on to break his own record, setting a new one at over $130,000. Holzhauer said the money has been the biggest change in his life, and he's used his platform to donate some of his earnings to various charities, including one in Naperville.
There was a charity walk for pancreatic cancer, and the person who was running that reached out to him and said, "Hey, you know, this is something Alex Trebek was going through. Would you be interested in contributing?" And he did. So that's something I'm really proud of. You know, it's one thing to have a skill and to be good at it, but it's another thing to give back to the community.
James has also made donations to Feed My Starving Children and Project 150, which helps underprivileged kids. The Naperville North alum ultimately fell to Chicago and Emma Betcher, but got a chance to face off against her during the two-day Tournament of Champion finals. After day 1, he's in the lead by more than $20,000. He'll have a chance of winning the $250,000 grand prize, but doesn't know what he'll do with it, saying, "I don't think I could even spend this much money. I'm not into extravagant purchases." Something his brother can testify to.
We were in Las Vegas, and so we were going out to lunch at the Paris casino, which is a pretty fancy casino. And my brother takes his Honda Fit up to the valet, and the valet is like, "Oh, congratulations, sir," and parks his Honda Fit next to like these Lamborghinis and other cars in the VIP spots.
Regardless of the outcome on Friday, it might not be the last we see of Jeopardy James. When asked if he'll be back on a game show, Holzhauer said, "There have been some offers to develop a new or existing game show around me, which sounds exciting. A bright future ahead? No question." For Naperville News 17, I'm Christian Canizal.
And it should be noted, James' brother Ian has also been a game show contestant on NCTV 17's very own Game On. After the break, a local couple finds a way to give kids a lift.
We live in a safe community, but not a crime-free community. If you see something, say something. Be a Naperville Crime Stopper.
Residents can expect a slight decrease in property taxes paid to the Naperville Park District. At a recent meeting, Park District staff presented a preliminary budget to the Board of Commissioners, which showed an average Naperville homeowner's taxes dropping from $368 this year to $364 in 2020. That money will go toward tackling some major projects in the coming year, including the 95th Street Community Plaza, the redevelopment of Knock Park, and Phase 1 of Wolf's Crossing Community Park. The Park District is the third largest property tax collector in Naperville, behind the school districts and the city. The Park Board will vote on the budget at their December 12th meeting. Park staff also said they're exploring ways to handle increases in minimum wage, which will rise to $15 per hour over the next 4 years. The Naperville Park District recently approved the Fort Hill Activity Center to be a reunification center for School District 204. The site will be a meetup point for parents and students in case of an emergency situation.
We talked about family reunification and having a site other than our own schools to utilize. And so the Park District stepped up and said, we'd be glad to help you out. We did a tour of the Fort Hill Activity Center. After reviewing that location, we said this would be an ideal location.
The size of the community center, its large parking lot, and the multiple routes to get to the gym are some reasons IPSD chose Fort Hill. Now that 204 has its reunification center, it can focus on what's next.
But the next steps would then include training staff, making sure the proper policies are written, procedures are written, and then being able to, again, put processes into place that can be memorialized for the school district for a long time.
District 204 hopes in the future they'll have more reunification centers to accommodate their schools in Aurora and near Bolingbrook. A group in Naperville has set a new goal for the community, making Naperville a dementia-friendly city. The Dementia-Friendly Naperville Action Group was started by members of the Naperville Senior Task Force with the goal of making Naperville more accommodating both to those with dementia and their caregivers.
Dementia friendly simply means that you're aware, you've begun the journey, and that you have the programs in place and that you're committed to carry it forward.
The group invited members of government organizations like the Naperville Police Department and Park District to discuss how they can help. Some options are utilizing Naper Notify to locate dementia patients who wander off, or furthering education about dementia.
First thing is to train people who might interact or encounter caregivers of people with dementia. And then beyond that, we heard a lot this morning about programming opportunities for people with dementia to get out in the community and also to provide programming and respite for caregivers.
The first step on the journey to a dementia-friendly Naperville. For more information on what makes a dementia-friendly community, Hill recommends visiting dfamerica.org. According to Kids Matter, youth across America are spending over 6 hours per day on electronic devices. That's why they hosted an event at the Naperville City Hall teaching parents how to best protect their children online. Kane County Sheriff's Office Detective Rich Wostocki presented the Cyber Parenting 101 program. The online expert gave tips to parents on how to talk to their kids about the dangers of being on the internet.
Parents need to understand that they have to have a technology talk with their children. If they go and try to parent their kids like, if I'm going to give you this phone, and if you do this, if you do that, if you're going to get this, you're going to get that. If something happens with the kid, is the kid going to go to the parent? No, they won't. They'll just try to wing it on all the experience that they have.
Wostocki said parents should also set ground rules and restrictions on their kids' electronic devices, and many are doing just that.
If, let's say they finish their homework, they might have maybe 15 minutes of playtime on the iPad, and that's really it. The iPad's not connected to the internet, so they can't go on YouTube. So we're really trying to keep them safe.
Wostocki also recommends not letting your kids have the phone in their room when they go to sleep, as that's when they're most vulnerable to online predators. A Naperville business is helping local schools one snack at a time. Brian Conrad and his wife Roxanne own 360 Painting franchise in Naperville and are giving back to the community through their parent company's charity, Kids Lift.
Having a painting company is actually a pretty unique opportunity to help the community because we're really actually in the community's homes and businesses every day.
In August, the couple participated in a school supplies drive that benefited District 204. Now they're continuing that charitable spirit with a snack drive. According to Feeding America, 1 in 7 American students struggle with hunger, and collecting snacks for students to eat at school is one way to combat that problem. That mission has taken on a new significance for the Conrads as their family grows.
Interestingly, it has a whole new meaning to us, being able to help children, as this year we've actually welcomed our first baby daughter into the world. So she's 5 months old now, and really seeing her and knowing the impact that we're having on other children that might not have those same opportunities, that's just such an awesome opportunity for us to take.
The school supplies drive in August was originally intended to benefit just Owen Elementary, but it was so successful, some of the supplies were donated across District 204 schools. Coming up, history comes to life in Naperville in a lesson on Thanksgiving.
From practice to homework to home improvement to bills, your days are busy. That's why Busey offers innovative financial solutions like our mobile app. Deposit checks, transfer funds, and keep your financial life in order, no matter where you are. Whether you're saving for college, keeping the family in the family business, or planning your dream retirement, Busey's your trusted partner to make your personal, business, and wealth management dreams a reality. Busey, your dream, our promise.
Shop downtown Naperville this holiday season with over 100 shops from national favorites to one-of-a-kind boutiques, plus over 50 restaurants. And health and beauty options too. You'll find something for everyone on your shopping list. Don't forget about downtown Naperville gift cards. They make a perfect gift for use everywhere in downtown Naperville. Come shop, dine, and be merry in downtown Naperville.
A recent wintry blast made for a bit of a blustery Veterans Day, but that didn't stop the community from coming out. Our own Aisha Ashley Hausa shares the day's ceremony.
With liberty and justice for all. Due to the wintry weather, the 2019 Veterans Day ceremony was moved into the Alfred Rubin Riverwalk Community Center. But that didn't dampen the enthusiasm of the community.
If this service would have been outdoors at the base of the Carillon, I'm sure that you would have had majority of these people would have been there anyway, regardless of the weather.
The room was full of veterans, their families, and others who showed their support. Some who came are direct relatives of World War I veterans and continue to honor that legacy.
We've had someone from the Bradley family that has served, Bradley or Haas, that has served in every conflict that the United States has been involved in. So it's a part of our family heritage.
We came out to celebrate our great uncle who died in World War I. His name was Eugene Berger. He died in France.
Eugene Berger was one of 7 Naperville World War I vets who died in the line of duty. The Naperville Healing Field of Honor Committee, Naperville American Legion, and Naperville VFW partnered up to host the event.
The first portion of this event today was for the American Legion and VFW to recognize the veterans. And then at the halfway point, we discussed the healing field that paid honor to those veterans.
They honored them by telling the story of 2 known Naperville vets, Oliver J. Kendall and Win Knock, who served in World War I. The sacrifices made by these vets and their families are worth remembering not just on Veterans Day, but all year round.
Whether you support a local charity like Heart of a Veteran, or you take part in a big effort, a big nationwide effort, or you just shovel the driveway of the veteran across the street, make sure to show your gratitude and honor our military servicemen and women.
Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Aisha Ashley Hausa.
All the proceeds from the event and Healing Field flag sales will go toward Operation Support Our Troops America. Jan's Book Angels program at Anderson's Bookshop is a tradition dating back more than 20 years. When customers walk in the store, they'll have the option to purchase a book for a child in need.
We have a very generous community here in Naperville. Customers come in, they can, like I said, they can either purchase a book that's pre-matched, or they can pick an angel off the tree and they can find a book that they would wish to give to that child.
Angel books are 10% off their regular price. They're then wrapped up and delivered to the organizations that work with the children. Scales estimates about 30,000 books have been purchased through the Book Angels program since its inception. Anderson's typically partners with places like Humanitarian Service Project and Bridge Communities for Jan's Book Angels with the hope of spreading the joy of a good book, helping children in need unwrap a special read. The program is named after retired Anderson's employee Jan Dundon, who helped grow the program during her time at the store. With Thanksgiving just around the corner, the Nichols Library hosted a historic guest to tell about how the holiday came to be. The 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, appeared in Naperville for an educational event about his role in establishing Thanksgiving. But Honest Abe wasn't touting himself as the only reason the holiday came to be. Guests at the lecture were taught the history of the woman who wrote letters to multiple presidents trying to create a national day of giving thanks.
Basically, there's a woman named Sarah Josepha Hale, very influential woman, who spent 35 years trying to get this country to have a national day of Thanksgiving. And I was the president who finally honored her request. And so we created it in 1863, had a proclamation for a day of Thanksgiving, and we did it again in 64. And I understand every year since then, the president of these United States has issued a proclamation, and you continue the tradition today.
Lincoln also shared how he established another tradition, as he was the very first president to pardon a turkey from becoming holiday dinner, though in fact it was a Christmas turkey, not a Thanksgiving one. And if you're beginning to think about prepping your own bird for the holidays, there's help just a phone call away. Our own Christian Canizal tells us who can take care of your turkey troubles.
No, that isn't a real gobble from your turkey, but you're in the right place if you need some turkey advice.
Butterball Turkey Hotline, can I help you?
During the holidays, the phone lines at Butterball in Naperville will be just as hot as the turkeys they'll help make, as over 100,000 cooks will seek the advice from the turkey experts.
It's such a hoot to walk into other people's
Thanksgivings and seeing what's happening and being able to calm people and tell them that what they've done is maybe a little wrong, but we're going to fix it and turkey will get on the table.
Butterball will also help answer thousands of other questions on their social media, and with so many curious chefs, there aren't many questions Butterball hasn't been asked.
The lady lived in Michigan and she was thawing her turkeys on the back deck, which we do not recommend. But some wildlife had gotten into her turkeys and ripped through the packaging and gnawed some of it off, and she wanted to know if it was still safe to use for Thanksgiving, of which I told her no.
Safe to say that was a good recommendation, one of many that Butterball has been providing since 1981. The challenge of crafting the perfect turkey for guests seems to be the biggest problem chefs have every year. So the experts aren't just talking turkey, they're testing it at their Butterball University.
So it goes into the pan, breast side up. You set your oven at 325. Spray a little bit of oil on it before you put it in. It'll brown it up really nice.
Once you think your bird is ready, take it out the oven, check the temperature to see if it's good. Make sure the thigh is at least 180 degrees, the breast 170, and the turkey stuffing has to be at least 165 degrees. And if you still have some last-minute questions, you might want to call ahead of Thanksgiving. On that day, over 10,000 people will dial up the 1-800-BUTTERBALL phone number, ready to learn how to cook up some gobble gobble. For Naperville News 17, I'm Christian Canizal.
And don't worry if you're still craving turkey after Thanksgiving. Butterball's talk line will be available through December 24th. Up next, a 12-year-old shows off his command of the court and his winning smile.
When I was about 1.5 years old, I got paralyzed with transverse myelitis, and I've been in a wheelchair or walker ever since.
Drew Butel might have to strap into his wheelchair, but he's hardly tied down these days. An astonishing notion 10.5 years after the initial diagnosis of transverse myelitis.
At that point, he was paralyzed. Transverse myelitis is extremely rare, and nobody really knows what the outcome is going to be.
It was a scary time for John Butel and his family. Recovery from the condition ranges from complete paralysis to full recuperation. Drew was 16 months old. He's now 12 and hardly ever uses a wheelchair, except to play basketball.
I went to go to Shriners Hospital in Chicago, and they taught me how to play wheelchair basketball, and I've loved it, and I found this Synergy program.
We found this Wheelchair Bulls activity here at that's being sponsored by Synergy, so we figured we'd bring Drew when he's 5 years old to see what it's all about, and he's been hooked ever since.
Drew may only be 12, but his advanced skill set is allowing him to play up with the 13 and over league, which is run by Synergy in conjunction with the Western DuPage Special Recreation Association.
My main team is going to be varsity, so if there's an overlapping game, I'm going to be with that team, but if I have the chance, I'm going to be playing with prep, the smaller team too.
Drew is awesome. He's been on the prep team for a few years now, and this is his first year playing varsity, so he's been pretty dominant at the youth level, very athletic, very tall for his age, and very, very good with his hands. You'll see him today make a lot of good plays with his dribbling, and he likes to go behind the back. So
Phil Ada is a program specialist at Synergy, who also coaches the Junior Bulls wheelchair basketball teams. He also travels to schools for wheelchair basketball demonstrations, one showing up at Drew's school, allowing him to shine.
We went to Drew's school, and he was able to play basketball in a wheelchair with everybody else playing in a wheelchair, and he really shined, and his smile always lights up the room, and you could see he was helping his teammates but also showing how good he really is.
A point guard, Drew's command of the game and of the court is impressive by all measures. especially considering his age and how far he's come.
It's amazing in the past 8 years how far he has come to become a leader on the little kids team, and now not being of age to be on the 10-foot team, still playing up and playing with the big kids.
With an older brother to compete with, much like everyday life, Drew doesn't confine himself to his wheelchair.
Normally he always beats me in Santa basketball and we were just always joking around, but then it's like the same thing but vice versa when it's wheelchair basketball.
Whether Drew is standing up or sitting down, teaching the prep team some new skills, or learning a few himself in the varsity squad, there is always one constant.
Drew always has a smile. I mean, you will see that during this entire practice here at Synergy that he is he's all smiles. He is totally in his element.
And it's through the sport of wheelchair basketball that Drew has also made those around him smile. He's also won a fair bit too.
Well, I love like winning games and stuff, so probably one time we won our Chicago tournament and that was really exciting for me.
Drew ended up getting the ball and he ended up making the shot with the Michael Jordan hang of the wrist as the buzzer went out to win the game. It's a vision I'll never forget.
Drew and his teammates are gearing up for a home tournament this coming weekend. And if the past is any indication, there will be a lot of smiling and a lot of winning too. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Kevin Jackman.
And if you have an idea for a sports story feature, you can let us know at newstips@nctv17.com. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas down on the Riverwalk. A lot of busy Naperville Park District elves have been hard at work putting up the Santa house. This is the 18th year the Little Red House at Jackson Avenue and Webster Street has been prepped for the Man in Red's arrival.
And anyone that's been on the Naperville Riverwalk any other time of year probably recognize what's behind me is our free speech pavilion. It's just a regular old picnic type pavilion, and now it's being transformed, magically transformed into Santa House.
New this year is the view, as Naper lights will now shine across the river in the Water Street District. Santa starts his visits on November 30th and will be spreading his holiday cheer through December 22nd on weekends and some weeknights. You can check out the Park District's website for hours and special event nights. And that's what's happening right here in your neighborhood, Naperville. We'll see you next week. Until then, you can catch up on local news by signing up for our NCTV 17 news update delivered right to your inbox Monday through Friday. Sign-up information is right on our website, nctv17.com.
This week's Naperville News 17 is brought to you in part by the following sponsors. This program is partially funded by a grant from the City of Naperville.